You can see here, this starts to ramp up in the 1970s. Really, USAID is ramping up at this point in time. They have major research expansion. There's a lot of literature that I've adjusted for, and I have in other graphs that I'll show in the near future on my channel. But what we see here is that USAID is getting so much, the population program is getting so much funding, they don't know what to do with it. But it is organized by a man named Ravenholt, who is the quintessential mad scientist, because Ravenholt, which is not in this graph, but I'll show again on my in my audience on Twitter. Uh, he has been doing mad scientist projects for years, and he somehow manages to find his way as the chief person on the USAID population program. So, as an example, one of the things that he did back in the 1950s was that he figured out a way to split a zygote naturally in a rabbit, or split an egg naturally in a rabbit, which meant that he was able to create life without fertilization. Uh, this was something that could still be done today. This is cloning without cloning.
Well, they are
Uh,
doing it today.
they are,
They are, yes.
but this is literally just taking an egg and forcing it into reproducing by itself with no other chemical or no other injection of any alternative DNA. So,
Right.
you know, this is the type of person who gets into this program. And by the way, if you read his writings, he doesn't care about women's rights at all. All of his writing is about population control. And so, what you'll see, and what I'll demonstrate on my channel later, is that every major contraceptive that gets put on the market from hereafter is funded by USAID in some major part. So the whole movement, whether it's IUDs, female contraceptives, condom technology, is funded by USAID. I'm not going to show that here, but it is a part of that program. So we're getting to the end here. This is the end of the book. We're around 1972. Everything is going according to plan. And here gets involved some really interesting people. We have Nixon, who's in power. There's a lot happening behind the scenes I won't get into because it gets very political. There's a lot of Catholics who are not happy with it, and there's a conversation whether abortion should be a part of this. There are laws that have been passed, like Title X, but what's really interesting is what happens next really brings us forward in momentum to what we might recognize today.
Because I mean, it hasn't gone anywhere. We're still on the trajectory of population control. I am wondering what it looks like today, given so many people have woken up to vaccines, climate change, all these agendas. What does it actually look like today?
Yeah. And gets really interesting because at this moment in time, Henry Kissinger uh, puts out a memo called NSSM, National Security Study Memorandum 200. And in this, he directs from defense all the way to the CIA and to USAID to direct a study of the impact of world population growth. So the US oversees the study should look forward at least to the year 2000 and use several alternative reasonable projections of population growth. What I think that means, and what I see from the data that comes after this is the world's first surveillance program put
Wow.
across the planet. So, in the name of population control, Henry Kissinger sees an opportunity because people are inviting USAID and other organizations into their bedroom. Now we can get a look into nations all the way down to that level. So when we talk about how much power and information is in it, and by the way, this is the first major government program and the first surveillance program that uses computers at a mass scale.
So look at the coordination there between all these organizations and Kissinger.
Yeah.
And I mean, who in the 1970s would have thought that they're being put under the world's first mass surveillance program in order to depopulate? Who
Yeah.
would have
And
really been aware of that back then?
Yeah, and so we see here too is this data starts coming in, and they are using computers to start parsing data at a massive scale. And you see from USAID and USAID sponsored reports uh, projections of birth rates across the planet. They start putting out international fertility research program studies, uh, international fertility research programs. And what this is here to do is to set off this very, very first spring into action around the development of contraceptives at large. So again,
Can you just go back up, Andrew, please, to the
sure, absolutely.
amounts? So we're talking about, which year is this?
This is 1976.
And we're
So you can see at that moment in time, the cost for development of fertility drugs and fertility. This is for research and development is $51 million.
in
76.
1976.
Yeah.
$51 million in 1976 was a colossal amount of money.
Well, it is spread out across multiple years, so you can see how it was. This was the prior years, and you can see in 76 they were at $3,000. They're asking for a 2x increase, and
Wow.
this is going all the way to 1981. So that's $51 million would be spread out.
It is still an incredible amount of money in that time. And, you know, you would have been ridiculously wealthy in that time period with those kinds of funds. And to think that all of this taxpayer money was going towards that, like it still is today, taxpayer money going to things that just should not be going to. It is incredible to see how long this has been going on.
Yeah. So this brings us to today. And I'll leave you with a little bit of a black hole in the data for the sake of not getting into a very, very large story around population control and keeping this concise. But this is the spending of population. So the USAID Population Office changed its name because population doesn't sound good anymore. We really
Uh-huh.
have to keep it clean. This is the Family Planning Office, and the Family Planning Office uh, gave a lot of money out to organizations for family planning. And so what I've mapped is every expenditure from 1999 to 2018, I believe this is, and all of the countries, you can see them listed here, that received that money. So this all goes globally. I didn't map it out. I
And this
just want
is
to, sh
just so people understand, this is being funded by American taxpayers. We hope you enjoyed that interview. We think Andrew's information and skill set is truly invaluable, and we're sure we'll speak to him again. But before we go, we want to tell you about how millions of Americans are taking advantage of these uncertain times in financial markets. From tariffs, auditing Fort Knox, government shutdowns, escalating wars, and governments running out of money, no wonder there is extreme volatility in the markets. Silver and gold thrive in times of chaos as they are now. Take advantage of this once-in-a-generation opportunity to thrive and call Kirk Elliott Precious Metals at 720-605-3900 or go to kepm.com/pulse. Learn how to protect your retirement assets with a firm that will educate you, not overcharge you with high commission gold and silver, and doesn't charge a commission when you sell. Call them today on 720-605-3900. There are ads for gold and silver on nearly every show these days, but I have a warning for you. Don't overpay for your stuff. Stay away from overpriced, high commission, rare or semi-rare coins for personal delivery or in your IRAs. Only purchase low-cost bullion that is 100% liquid from a firm that doesn't even charge a commission when you liquidate. Call KEPM at 720-605-3900 or go to kepm.com/pulse to learn more and take advantage of what may be the largest bull market of a generation.